Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Cretaceous Creations release, and as you can see, we've got ourselves another of these super cool stylized figures. This is the Jurassic World Rebirth Spinosaurus, and look at how awesome this thing looks. It looks super intimidating, but at the same time very stylized like the Cretaceous Creations figures usually do have that look, and I think they just did an overall incredible job on this one. This is like an absolute must-have if you are a fan of the Rebirth Spinosaurus, because it's by far one of the coolest looking versions, especially when it comes to stylized versions I've seen. So let's go ahead and readjust the camera and we'll get a closer look. So starting here in the head sculpt of the Spinosaurus, you can see it looks absolutely menacing. It looks angry, it definitely looks violent, and it looks just like as they pretty much do in Rebirth, but very exaggerated. It does have a pretty big head because, again, that's that kind of chibi style, but I think they've done a great job of painting this out, and the brown that they've chosen looks really good on the figure. Obviously, the Spinos in the film have varying colors, so they really had their choices as far as what they could go with when it comes to the primary tone of color, and they chose to go with like a chocolate bar brown, and I think it looks really good as a whole. The mouth is open on this Spinosaurus. We can see all of the teeth looking really good, very genuinely sharp, painted with a white tone of color on the inside of the mouth. We do have the tongue sculpted out, which you can see also has a pinkish tone, but also has like a red wash applied to it, and then the rest of the inside of the mouth is just that brown, so a little bit different from the recent Raptor that I had reviewed where they had the entire inside of the mouth with the pinkish tone. This time they really wanted to elaborate the tongue area. As you move up, you can see the eye looks very menacing as well, just the way that the eye is kind of like scrunched down, looking like the Spinosaurus is really angry. I just love how much character they put into these figures. Like, they just genuinely have so much, personality to them, I guess you could say. But you can see the eye is also painted with a yellow and does have a little bit of a glossy look to it, but the entire figure has a little bit of a shine, and that makes sense considering we see the Spinos in or around the water in the film, so it makes sense that this would have, again, a bit of a shiny look. There is also a grayish tone that appears here on the inside of the mouth as the skin is kind of stretching with the mouth opening, so there's a little variation of color right there. We can see some like large osteoderms and stuff popping up, as well as smaller osteoderms popping up here and there throughout the course of the head sculpt. As you move into the body, you start to pick up some of those yellows, as we have a stripe of yellow over the back of the dinosaur, as well as a nice little spot of that yellow down on each side of that stripe. We have more of those osteoderms as you move back, varying in size from fairly small to really quite large. Moving up into the sail, that yellow shines, especially considering how dark the tone of color of the Spino is. For the most part, that yellow pops beautifully up there. We also have black in between each of the kind of stripes of the sail, which also looks really nice. Moving down, you can see again more of the same kind of almost animated style detail for the figure. Moving into the arms look really good. As you move closer into the hands, it almost has a bit of a crocodilian look to the way that the skin texture is sculpted out. Some scoots down the fingers, and the claws look really quite nice as well, again painted with a black. You do have that sort of crocodilian look to the underbelly as well of the dinosaur, and you can see that is painted with a light sort of a tone, like a light brownish tone. As you move back, you've got the leg sculpted, and you can see the hip bone there on the top of the leg, as well as the musculature defined as you move down. Some more osteoderms leading down. We can kind of make out the knee right there in the front of the leg as well. And then you lead into the foot sculpt, and you do have some scoots down the toes, and again, the claws sculpted and looking genuinely sharp and painted with a black. And yes, you do have dew claws, which you can see over there. And then we move back up and out into the paddle-like tail of the Spinosaurus. We have more of those osteoderms leading out. You also have some of the black striping, as well as, of course, the yellow following along the top of the tail, as well as that light brown following along the lower part of the tail, but there's kind of cut off about halfway out. We have a nice curve to the tail as well, which you can see, and when you look at it from up above, you can really see how striking the yellowish tones are on the figure. When you look at it from the opposing side, we can see that the head is turned ever so slightly toward its left, but not massively different from one side to the other. other. The head sculpt again looks excellent on this side. As you move back, you've got the arms again held in pretty much the same position on this side as what we had seen on the first side. The leg is trailing over here as the other leg is taking a step forward, and again the same sort of detail as you move through the course of the figure. Same very nice, very consistent paintwork, and of course the tail curves away from us now on this side. But overall, when it comes to a stylized Jurassic World Rebirth Spinosaurus, that is by far the best one I've seen. And then we also, of course, have the base. This base is a little different from the others because it has a black coloration compared to the light gray that we saw on the other bases, but at the same time, you can kind of see a little translucency to it, so it does have a pretty cool look to it overall. I actually really quite like that translucent aspect. And we can also, of course, see the Cretaceous Creations symbol on the underside, as well as, again, Spinosaurus up here, telling you the species name. So very, very nice base to go with an excellent Spinosaurus. So as far as a size goes, for a length on the Spinosaurus from the head to the tail, about 7¼ inches or a little over 18 centimeters. And then for a height, the highest point would probably be the sail. You are looking at a little over 3¼ inches, maybe heading toward 3½, but not quite there, or about 8½ centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being next to our Cretaceous Creation Spinosaurus, and you can see again it's got a pretty decent size to it, definitely a little bit larger than the Velociraptors that we recently reviewed. We've also got a Mattel Velociraptor stepping in for a comparison next to the Spinosaurus, showing you that the Spino is definitely of similar size to a Mattel Velociraptor, though obviously in this position the raptor's standing a little bit taller. The Spino definitely has a bit more body mass though. We also have a comparison with the Mutodon from Cretaceous Creations, which you can see the Spino is a bit larger. And then one final comparison, we also have the Tyrannosaurus Rex Ember from the Cretaceous Creations line next to the Spinosaurus, showing you that the Rex is actually a little bit bigger than the Spino. So this Cretaceous Creations Jurassic World Rebirth Spinosaurus is absolutely awesome, like everything they create always is. They have some of the coolest stylized dinosaur figures that I have ever seen, and I think they always do such a great job of creating these in a way where they kind of look screen accurate at the same time as very stylized, if that makes sense. Like, they really do a good job of capturing key aspects of the dinosaurs in the film and sculpting them out in a way where they're exaggerated, but they don't look like super far off from the actual designs. I don't know how they do it, but they do a great job of doing it. Like when you look at the Pop Funko type Jurassic World dinosaurs, they look like Jurassic dinosaurs, but they don't look like they look in the films. They look very exaggerated in a silly sort of a way, whereas these look exaggerated but still look like the dinos you see on screen. So that makes them even cooler if you ask me. The sculpt of this, of course follows like the same trend, same style, having almost a little like kind of an animated sort of a look when it comes to the way the detail is applied, but also a little Pop Funko-ish, a little chibi style, like all thrown into one original creation. The overall appearance of the Spino looks really menacing as well. They've done a good job of, adding character to the figure, adding a little personality to it, which is great. The paintwork is also extremely well done, very nice and precise, and the way that yellow pops in comparison to the darker tones of the body is absolutely gorgeous here in hand. So without question, another figure that I highly recommend picking up from Cretaceous Creations. So if you are interested, make sure you check the link that I will include in the description, which will take you straight to their store where you can purchase this figure right now. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.